Let's talk about the 7 foods that have the potential to increase longevity. Now, the majority of illnesses and chronic disease relates to the mitochondria at the cellular level. Anything that can help support or maintain or improve the mitochondria can potentially help you live longer. Anything that destroys the mitochondria, you're not going to live as long. And at the very top of the list, there's one molecule that's very, very powerful. It's called PQQ. What it does is it increases the number of mitochondria. And it is also involved in the continuous recharging and discharging of electrons in the battery in your mitochondria. Then you get into what's called physics, which involves electrons. So we're dealing with the creation of a battery. So the mitochondria has a very important function of creating ATP, which are mini little batteries. And this molecule, PQQ, can actually do both. It can help discharge and release energy and help recharge energy as well. It increases the number of mitochondria. It's very important in your brain, in your cognitive function. And if you're missing this molecule in your food, you have a lot of problems. And it's 10 times stronger than resveratrol. And out of all the foods that have the most PQQ, it's the cacao. That is kind of the precursor to cocoa or chocolate. Then you have cocoa, which is heated, and chocolate is more processed. But even chocolate as a finished product, even though it's heated, has a large amount of this PQQ. Now, the negative part of chocolate usually comes in sugar. But if you were to get let's say the 85% or maybe even 90%, you'd get just a very tiny bit of sugar. And the other negative part is that cacao is very high in oxalates. So if you're prone to kidney stones, probably not a good idea. But even in general, if you just have a small piece, you're getting a smaller amount of these oxalates, and it's probably not going to be a big problem. But just to make sure, as an extra precaution, if you were to have this, a little bit of chocolate right after your lunch, and you had some cheese, that extra calcium will help reduce the oxalates being absorbed. But cacao or chocolate also has polyphenols. It's very, very high in magnesium, but polyphenols are also in berries, grass-fed meat. They're in grass-fed cheese. In fact, I submitted some of our cattle meat into a research project, and I got the results back, and there was like super high amounts of polyphenols in the meat, the animal meat. So when the animals eat the plants that have the polyphenols, you're going to get that indirectly. So polyphenols are another thing that increases the number of mitochondria. Polyphenols also increase SOD, which is something that helps to reduce oxidation, free radical damage. It also is an enzyme that reduces hydrogen peroxide in the cells. It has the potential to decrease inflammation. If your gut microbiome is not very good, if you have a lot of digestive issues, you might not benefit from polyphenols. But if you have a good gut microbiome, okay, your microbes will help you absorb these polyphenols. And if the polyphenols are in the animal meat or the goat's cheese, that's probably a lot more bioavailable than consuming them straight from plants. All right, coenzyme Q10 is also used in our mitochondria, especially the part where you're dealing with electrons. That's the last part of that whole cycle. So this coenzyme Q10 allows for these electrons to travel through and allows you to make ATP. Statins block an enzyme that also is involved in this coenzyme Q10. And so if you're on a statin, you better be taking coenzyme Q10 or else you're going to have a lot of muscle side effects. It increases the antioxidant capacity in your body. It's even a therapy for mitochondrial diseases. But it's also in liver, it's in red meat, it's also in fatty fish. All right, next one is L-carnitine. It basically helps you burn the fat, okay? When you exercise, L-carnitine helps preserve muscle protein. L-carnitine helps you recover from exercise as well. And take a wild guess where you're going to get most of the L-carnitine. It's very high in red meat, the exact food that they tell you not to eat. So the next molecule is carnosine. This molecule greatly restores mitochondrial damage. It helps buffer the pH. It helps decrease inflammation. It gets rid of oxidative stress. It even decreases something called glycation, which occurs in diabetics and occurs when you're eating sugar. A lot of people who consume either sugar and protein or sugar and fat end up having this glycation, which kind of binds up the protein. Well, guess what? Carnosine will help get rid of that. And also carnosine delays aging. And take a wild guess what food you're going to find carnosine in. Red meat. Okay, the next molecule I want to talk about is called phycocyanin. Okay, phycocyanin. This is in spirulina. Okay, this is not an animal product. It's an algae. That molecule not only improves oxidative stress, but also mitochondrial biogenesis. It can increase the number of mitochondria. It helps protect the DNA. It helps repair DNA. Number 7, EPA and DHA. These fatty acids both directly improve mitochondrial function. They decrease oxidative stress. They improve insulin sensitivity. They reduce inflammation. And you can find these omega-3s in salmon, sardines. You're going to find probably the most in cod liver and cod liver oil. Now, since we talked about the foods that extend your life, let's talk about the most dangerous food that could shorten your lifespan. And I put that up right here. Check it out.